Hello everyone. So in this episode of our action RPG series, we are going to work on how to make these markers or markers that we want stay on the edge. So here you can see I have a marker for this cursor, and if I turn this way, you see the cursor marker stays on the edge of the screen even though the cursor is completely off the screen. If I turn the complete opposite side, you see now it's in the bottom side of the screen, but still we can understand now the that building is behind our camera. So if I rotate, now we can easily track where this objective marker or the built-in marker is there. Now here I have enabled that stay on edge parameter for the other C marker as well. So but if you check B, if B is not staying on the edge because I haven't enabled that. So now we have two marker types that can stay or don't stay. So we can basically change it with a parameter here. Simply stay. If I enable stay on edge for this one, that is going to stay on the edge. See, now B also staying on the edge. Alright, so that's what we are going to work on today. And before we get started, let me remind you that you can download the project files of this project and all other thousands of projects I have done in my channel from my Patreon page. Once you become a member, you can access everything without any limits. And here is the full playlist of this series. Everything is implemented from scratch and explained. So I'll leave the link to a playlist also in the description. So yeah, let's get started with today's episode. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is, so here as you can see, I have loaded a different level because I want to have a simpler setup to understand calculations. So here first I'm gonna add this windmill over here, and I will add straight ahead of the start location of the player, so it could make it easier for us to understand calculations. And here if I play now, you can see the marker appears up above. Maybe it would be make this even easier if I remove this word offset, so marker would appear directly in front of the player like that. So what I want to do is, as this object moves away, now I want to keep the B on the edge so that player can understand that objective marker, whatever, is in this direction. So if I keep looking at that direction, we can see the marker with the object. So we want to make it stay on the edge of the screen. All right. Now to do that, let's go to our UI, markers, and here first I'll add this marker data. I'll add a new variable here, a boolean. Let's call it stay on edge. So this will, if I mark this as true, that particular marker will stay in the edge of the screen without completely going away. And I'll make it false by default. Now for this one, I'll enable that. It doesn't show up because I need to compile this. Right, now it should show up. Yeah, I'll enable it. But right now, nothing is different. Nothing is happening differently because we just added the variable. Okay, now let's go to our HUD markers. And here, let's go to the location where we update the markers, and this is where we calculate the location of the marker. So I think it would make it easier if I convert this part into a function. So to do that, here, let's do this. The instigator system set. Return connected. Now we can collapse this part. Oh, we need this still. So we can collapse this into a function. Let's call it get marker position or marker screen position, and I'll turn it into a pure function, so we don't need to connect one of these white pins. This widget, let's call it widget. All right. Or better, marker widget. Right, now let's go in here. So first, let's define a screen space where we should see the markers if they are sticking into the screen. That means if a marker is staying on the edge, let's say for example this one, even if I go here, the markers should stay a certain distance away from this edge so that we can clearly see the full marker, not the half of it. All right, now for that, now this return value is if the marker is not staying on edge. So here, let's get this stay on edge. The branch. If this is false, this would be the return value. Simple. But if this is true, we would need a different value. So let's add a return value here, but without doing any kind of calculation. Let me use the same thing, and then let's do a clamping. So if I get viewport size and divide it from the viewport scale, size, that's a float value. Here we would get the scaled size of the screen, which we can use to set the position on this canvas object. So here, if I multiply this by, let's say, 0.02 and 0.1 for y, this would give in the canvas a point like this. The reason that I use a different value here is because x is larger than y. That's why, no any other reason. So we would get a point like this, and let's promote this to a local variable. Let's call it min position. Similarly, I'll multiply this with something like the opposite value. That means here 0.98 and here 0.9. That let's promote to another local variable. Let's call it max position. Sure. Now down a little bit. Here, this is x and y. Can we clamp this? Okay. So I'll get this break. And load. So the main is from here. Break. This is the minimal max and max is from here. This is the max x, and similarly I can clamp y also separately, minimum y here, maximum y here, and then we can return this. Oh, let me cut the 2D like this. Now let's see. I did I enable stay on edge? Yeah, I did. Now here, let's see what happens. See, B doesn't move away. It does stay on the top edge and the bottom edge and the right, but this is not always correct. If I go beyond a certain point, see, now it jumps over here. That is wrong. And actually that happens even if we are not trying to stick it to the edge. So that is a limitation in the system that we are seeing. Here you can see a half of the marker. So anyway, so that is as I understand, that is a limitation in this project world to widget position calculation. So what we can do is that happens when the object is in the complete opposite side of the screen. So we can check it. Okay, to check that, here I'll get marker widget and marker data, and from this we can get the actually we have the location here. Yeah, this is the object location. Maybe I should have a local variable for that because I'm going to reuse this. Variable marker word location. Sit here simply. Marker word location. Okay. Now we don't need this. We can simply get marker word location, and also we can get on in player pawn as well. And then get that the location. this and look at rotation. Now this would give the rotation, look at rotation from the player character to the marker location. In this case, somewhere like this would be the marker location. Now, if I get control, get on layer, or can I get control rotation? Yeah, we can get this. If I get the control rotation from the player phone and do a delta between these two, and I print it, so you can see actually here only the yaw component matters. So let's break this, break the rotator, and I'll print only the yaw here, so you will understand what's going on. Since we only have one marker in the world, we see print logs related only to one marker. Now here it's 0. That's because we are looking straight at in the direction of the B pointer. If I look this way, see, it changing from 0 to in the positive direction, going from 90, and see, once we exceed the 90 or 100, it goes to here. In the same way, if I keep rotating, now it changes from minus 180 and reducing towards 0. See, now we also again got the correct position when the magnitude of the angle is less than 100. So that's what happens. So basically, as I understand, what happens is when the marker point is behind the camera, we don't get a proper or correct screen position. We can't project it correctly. That's what's going on. So to fix that, let's do something like this. Here, if this is, I'll consider the absolute value because it is changing from 0 to 180 from one side and 0 to minus 180 from the other side. So therefore I'll consider the absolute value, and if this is larger than 90, here let's have a branch. This value is correct if it is less than 90. So in case of false, this value is correct. But if it is true, then we need to think of a different way to calculate the position of the marker. So what I want to do is, if the marker position is behind me, let's say the B is over there now, if I turn to the complete opposite, regardless of the vertical position, I want to show the B marker over here, and as I turn this way, it should go closer to this edge, so it will match with this location. Similarly, it should go from middle to the left along the bottom edge of the screen, so it would match with the B. So that's my plan. That's what I want to do. So the first thing is, in this case, the Y here. Let's add a return value. We know Y. Let's split this. Y is going to be the max value, because we want to put it on the bottom edge. So we can get max position, split. Now we only need to calculate X. So as I showed you, when I'm rotating, when I look at this way, I removed the print. So like this, when I go like this, it's changing from minus. Oh, let me add the print again. So it's easier. All right. I only see the print like this. See, now it's positive and going to the 180. And then here is the negative mark and going towards minus 90. So I need to get the middle position of the screen. That means here, if I multiply this with the, we just need rect and x. I promote this to a local variable. We put size x. Then middle would be the half of this, of course. So we put size x. From here at 180, we should be in the middle. That means this multiplied by 0.5 goes to the x position. But this is only when we are in 180 yo in this angle. But that's not going to be the angle always. So as we go into the sides, here, if I do a calculation like this, let me add a subtraction. I need to subtract this from 180 and divide it from 180 to get a number between 0 and 1. Actually 0 and 0.5. And then if I, well, this is going to be a little bit different because we are going from minus 90 to minus 180 on one side and 90 to 180 from the other side. So bear with me with the calculation. I tried this before. Here, for one side, it's gonna be like this. 0.5 minus this much. And for the other side, it's gonna be a plus. Here, like this. Like this. Now, if this value, if the your value is positive, that means greater than 0. If that is the case, I can select this plot. If it is positive, I can use this one. If it is negative, I can use this one. And of course, I need to multiply it here, the size. That's what we need to return. Okay. So let's see if I'm correct. Yeah, see? Now B is like this, here, and it matches over there. Okay, nice. So that's exactly what we need. I know I didn't do a better job at explaining this calculation, but I maybe you should spend some time on yourself by yourself how this is done. But I don't have any other an easier way to explain that right now. I had to spend like 10 minutes off the screen to figure this out myself. So don't worry if you don't get it. Just uh, think how the angle from the camera angle and the marker direction changes and how you need to position the marker, then you will understand. Okay, so now let's go to our main map, and here we have a couple of markers already. Yeah, so let's make only few of them. Some of them stay on the screen. So this one, maybe show distance. I want to see the distance as well, and stay on edge. And also this one. Let's go testing. So all right, and maybe here I'll just show the distance, but no need to stay on the edge. Let's see if it works. Yeah, see, C is over here. And you can see now this one is also over there. Yeah, so it's working. All right. So that's all I want to cover in this episode. And also to address this bug that we have here. See, we have this marker that appears over here. Maybe we should do something about that. So for that, let's do this calculation. Or do we have a return value? Oh yeah. Maybe we can use this. So this returns false if we can't calculate a position. So in that case, let's do a select. This, if it is true, I return this the calculated position. If it is false, I just give some completely off screen location, something like this. That should prevent having that in the edge, any of them. Yeah, that's correct. All right, so yeah, that concludes today's episode. So thanks for watching. As always, updated project files will be available for download in the Patreon page. Link would be in the description below. And let me know if you have any questions in the comments. See you in another episode. Goodbye.